So if you got the son-in-law living in the basement and the grandkids on the way, I'll tell you what, one of the good things that you can do is buy a franchise. And I'll tell you what, we do have plenty of home-based options. So one of the things you can do there is you can get something that's home-based. Obviously you want to talk to your family considerably before you do anything. But I'll tell you what, sometimes it can be better than the alternative. I know sometimes it can be very difficult for people to really get ahead in the workforce. Sometimes there are situations where it's even beyond their control. There's a lot of Zulatunes out there. What I mean by that is people that, let's say, are jealous. They've had positions for a long time. They haven't really gotten anywhere in their careers. And they might be the people that are out there to train, for a position. And they might actually make it so that they're going to do everything in their power to tear down people that are new, that come through the door. So that's what you don't want. You don't want to have to deal with all kinds of Zulatunes. And I'll tell you what, it can be pretty bad, especially when there's a lot of ideas about evolution and the survival of the fittest out there. This whole idea of the workforce is just in place to eat one another. The idea that, the Zulatune wins, as it were, and they get considered to be the fittest, and they're the ones that sometimes survive, if you want to believe that. And so that's the sad part about it. And, it may be the case that, there might be people out there that have had jobs for 20, 30 years that only have a high school diploma, and, maybe your son or daughter, has a couple master's degrees, that kind of thing. And, maybe you're just wanting to move them out of the basement. And so now you have a situation on your hands. And see, it really helps to be able to buy a franchise in those kind of instances, to try to help ensure that, your children, your grandchildren have something, that if they want to go out and work and be productive, that they can. And, that it's owned by the family. And, that makes a big difference. It gives people some security in life. And I'll tell you what, we got plenty of options. If you go to Zelfer.com and register for the free franchise consulting service, it's totally free. You can see what we got. Anyway, God praise, God be blessed.